Good morning, Titan Nation. Today is Monday, April 14th, 2014. I'm Nomi.
And I'm Arletty. Titans, please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
Titans, remember, have pride in our school and pride in yourself, and do the right thing.
Old phones, tablets, and inkjet cartridges will still be collected. Please help support the basketball team by dropping them off in room 3126.
Join the superior-rated Titan marching band Color Guard. They are looking for dedicated, enthusiastic, and energetic students to be a part of their organization. Auditions will be held on April 15, 16, and 17 from 5 to 7 p.m. Contact Mr. Goff if you have any questions.
Districts tonight for our softball team game starts at 7 p.m. Be there and watch our girls crush Cypress Lake. Also, congratulations to Bailey Gghs for making All-State.
There's a volleyball meeting Wednesday in room 5116 during lunch.
Attention juniors and seniors. Prom tickets will only be sold Thursday, April 17th during lunch outside of Building 1. Tickets are only $80 and there are only a few left. Ticket price goes up next week to $90.
There are beautiful formal dresses available for free to any high school girl who may not be able to afford to purchase one. There are over 300 dresses available in many different sizes and styles. Lots of them are brand new. The dresses are all located at the Fashion Fresh Cleaner store at the shops at Pebblebrook Shopping Center on the corner of Immokalee Road and Collier Boulevard, which is 951, just north of Oak Ridge Middle School. 2 dates will be available for any high school girl to go to that store to choose a dress this Friday, April 18th, and this Saturday, April 19th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Monday, so good.
Sign up for ITT Technical Institute. They will be here Wednesday.
The Pelican Bay Rotary Club is offering a Service Above Self scholarship for $1,000. Please see guidance right away.
The Athletes Sports Recruiting Scholarship is a $1,000 scholarship for seniors that play sports. See guidance right away.
Don't forget the yearbooks are still on sale for $75 and only $65 with a coupon.
If you look closely, this week's dates are the same forwards and backwards. Isn't that cool?
Attention all football players or anyone who wants to play football. Spring practice starts Thursday, April 24th. You must see Coach D in the weight room anytime during the school day or after school before you can participate.
Pay attention. Tonight will be a total lunar eclipse. If you want to stay up,
arm yourselves. Zombies and aliens will come. The zombies will attack you. So all those COD players out there, you guys should be ready.
Well, you heard it here first. Zombies will attack.
Not really.
Have a great day, Titan Nation.
Look at the slide for more information about tonight's lunar eclipse.
That's it for the school news today. Now over to the CNN Student News Desk. In its entirety, we're out.
Thank you for taking 10 minutes on this Monday, April 14th for CNN Student News. I'm Carl Azus, here to get you up to speed on current events. That includes what's happening in Chile. We've reported on earthquakes that have struck near the long South American country this year. Now, part of Chile is dealing with wildfires. Officials don't know yet what caused this, but the wind has made it worse. The fires have burned about 2,000 acres in the Pacific coast city of Valparaiso. At least 16 people have died, according to police, and hundreds of homes have been lost. Chile's president has declared a state of emergency, and that allows members of the armed forces to get involved in helping firefighters and evacuating people. 10,000 Chileans have had to leave their homes. Doctors in West Africa have been scrambling to contain a deadly outbreak of Ebola. The virus surfaced earlier this year in Guinea, and it has spread to at least one neighboring country. Health officials say so far there are at least 180 suspected or confirmed cases of the hemorrhagic fever. and more than 100 people have died, so you can see how lethal it is.
They think Ebola comes from forested areas like these ones that you're looking at now. Pathogens living inside of animals that somehow get into humans. And it's so scary because Ebola is a swift, efficient, and very bloody killer. In fact, in some cases, 9 out of 10 people who become infected actually die from this. It can take anywhere between 2 and 21 days for someone to start to get sick after they've been exposed. That's called the incubation period. And during that time, they can travel. They can travel around the country or even between countries. That's the concern. But here's a little bit of good news, and that is that you're really not contagious. You're not going to spread the virus to other people until you're sick yourself. That's when the virus is in your bodily fluids and you're going to actually be able to spread it. But when you're sick, you're down. You're unlikely to be moving around. You're unlikely to be getting on a plane. But even after you've recovered, in some cases, you can still transmit the disease for a period of time after that for up to 6 weeks. The symptoms here can often start off looking like the flu. You get a headache, people have fever, they start to feel unwell, tired. But then after that, it gets unpretty. People actually start to develop significant diarrhea. They may start to vomit. But what really is a hallmark of this is that it becomes bloody. The body starts to be unable to clot, and as a result, you see bleeding on the outside, but it's the bleeding on the inside that's the most concerning, and it can often cause death. It's a difficult thing to test for, and that's part of the problem. In the beginning of outbreaks like this, nobody knows what's happening, and that's when people become careless. That's when healthcare workers start to get infected, and that's how something like this starts to spread.
All right, there are a number of precautions that healthcare officials take when they're in areas of disease outbreaks. You might have seen the full body suits worn by them or workers at the CDC. Dr. Gupta is actually in Guinea right now. He shows us how some preparation is in the bag.
What you're looking at here is a go bag. It's what we journalists carry whenever we cover a risky situation, whether it be a combat zone or a natural disaster or an infectious disease outbreak. One of the mandatory things we're always going to have, some sort of first aid kit. We carry that wherever we go. But after that, it becomes a little bit more specific. For example, here in Guinea, one of the concerns is malaria, typhoid fever. So we make sure, for example, we have DEET, simple DEET. We cover ourselves with that. And also medications for malaria, which we start taking a few days before we cover the story. Also, we may find ourselves all of a sudden outside, staying in a tent. So we have something like a mosquito net to protect us that way. When it comes to Ebola, there are some specific concerns. We know it's not airborne, but it does spread through bodily fluids. And we know the person who is spreading it is typically very sick before they become contagious. So if we're in the vicinity of people who are already sick, we take special precautions. Besides a mask, for example, we'll have gloves, cover up our hands. We'll have a suit like this to cover up all of our skin, even goggles to protect our eyes. And we'll wash our hands before and after. These are simple steps, but they can make a huge difference. The key is to do your homework, to make sure you're not taking any unnecessary chances, and to make sure you have a go bag like this to stay prepared.
If you're wondering what other challenges journalists might face when they're in places where diseases and disasters strike, you're already thinking in terms of media literacy. Teachers, we provide a free media literacy question of the day every day. It's on the transcript page at cnnstudentnews.com. There are some jaguars roaming the Pacific Northwest. Specifically, they're in the state of Oregon, and they're watching CNN Student News from Stoller Middle School in the Oregonian city of Portland. From there, we're swooping down to Gilbert, Arizona. It's where we found some hawks. They're on the wing at Highland High School. And if you've ever wondered what the difference is between a hawk and a warhawk, well, one is that the warhawks are in Georgia. They're soaring over Veterans High School in Kathleen. Two religious ceremonies to tell you about. For Christians, yesterday was Palm Sunday, also known as Passion Sunday. It's the first day of the Holy Week that precedes Easter. The reason it's called Palm Sunday is because it commemorates when Jesus Christ entered Jerusalem. And the Bible says that crowds took branches of palm trees as they went out to celebrate his arrival. And today is the beginning of Passover. It's a Jewish holiday that lasts 7 or 8 days. Passover celebrates the time when God liberated the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. According to religious scriptures, it's called Passover because on the night when God struck the Egyptians, he passed over the homes of the Israelites, allowing them to live.
See if you can ID me. I'm a sport nicknamed the fastest game on earth. I'm played out over 3 periods of 20 minutes each. My championship cup was donated by Lord Frederick Arthur Stanley. I'm ice hockey and I've been played internationally since the 1800s.
Ice hockey's also been called the most violent sport. Sure, there's the routine fighting you know about in the NHL, but you don't need a fight to take a hit in hockey. From checking to collisions to just hitting the boards, it's no wonder why those who are concerned about concussions aren't just thinking of football. What can be done to help players keep their heads safely in the game?
In the rough world of ice hockey, a sport where concussions have become all too common, players tough it out too often.
There's definitely the stigma. Fight through it, work through it.
But could new technology be a game changer? This is one of several products to hit the market that claims to indicate and keep track of the impact and number of blows to a player's head. Researchers are testing a range of these products, questioning how effective they are.
You wear it on your head, and it's basically feeding information to an electronic module.
You're measuring acceleration and rotation.
We're looking for rapid changes in both of those features.
Concussions can happen when the brain moves back and forth or rotates inside the skull because of an impact. According to a study in the American Journal of Sports Medicine, concussions account for 22% of injuries in boys' high school hockey. But players who take a hit aren't always willing to sit out. Enter Check Light.
It's a flexible electronic device, one on your head for impact indication.
A Reebok product equipped with technology that they say could help players check their pride and get potential injuries checked out. The skull cap, with a sensor placed inside it, is worn under a helmet.
It's really up to other players to notice what's going on back there.
That's correct, Alice.
What's visible outside the helmet is a small LED panel that lights up when a collision occurs. Yellow for a moderate blow, red for a more significant impact. Researchers testing this and similar products say it is unclear what force causes products to trigger after an impact, or worse, not to trigger, and that more testing needs to be done to determine just how accurate these devices are. But Reebok says the lights are triggered based on an algorithm that calculates the severity of the impact.
Some people are going to wonder if Check Light can be abused, if you're going to see, teenage boys thinking it's a good idea to light each other up. Are you seeing that?
It kind of goes away after the first little bit of getting used to having the technology. They stop that pretty quick.
If Check Light or similar technologies are proven to be effective, the hope is that in a rough game, tough players won't be left with permanent damage.
78 years old, and she'd never set foot on a roller coaster. Now think back. Do you remember your first ride? Were you this excited or just plain terrified? And after things really got going, did you find it this hysterically funny? Thanks to YouTube, we can all watch Ria Vandenbrand, a grandmother from the Netherlands, rock and roll on her maiden coaster voyage. Didn't scream a bit, she was too busy laughing. It was for an ad campaign, so the ride didn't cost her a penny. It also didn't seem to roll her nerves or throw her for a loop. Maybe all the twists and turns just felt funny. She clearly thought the whole thing was a gasp, and at the end, we know who got the last laugh. This train is leaving the station. Hope your Monday goes well.